A little more than 6 months pregnant, Angela and husband Alex were preparing to be first-time parents. Suddenly, Angela developed severe high blood pressure called preeclampsia and was admitted to the hospital. After 2 critical weeks, she delivered a micro-preemie baby, a son named Max, who weighed less than 2 pounds. Among his many problems, Max was born with underdeveloped lungs, severe bronchopulmonary dysplasia, a life-threatening condition for such a premature baby. He needed a ventilator to survive. After weeks of struggles, setbacks, and cardiac arrests at a major Boston hospital, Max was extremely fragile. Angela and Alex boldly sought expert care to save their son. They came to the neonatal intensive care unit at Children's Hospital Boston.
Even before Max arrived at our front door of the unit, it was really such a team effort.
When he first arrived, he was in a situation where he had a lot of risk factors, but the sickest of children need to get ventilator support even beyond their NICU time, and those children end up needing a tracheostomy to give them that support for the months after they leave the NICU. And so he was in that category of severe lung disease.
Max needed the tracheostomy to survive. The operation resulted in what his team calls one of the most dramatic situations faced in a surgery of this kind. Already frail, Max went into cardiac arrest.
One of the interns actually gave us the news, and I could see just by her face and the fact when she tried to shake my hand, she was trembling, that things were probably not the greatest.
Fluid then began building up around his lungs, preventing them from expanding normally. Surgeons had to make an emergency opening in his abdomen and temporarily move vital organs outside his body to make room for his lungs to expand.
It was such a dramatic event in that operating room that required the cooperation of people from multiple different specialties, and every one of them acted so promptly and with all of the equipment that they needed readily available, and all of it was urgent and necessary for him to survive.
There were 48 people working on this guy, who I think at that time was maybe 3 pounds, and I couldn't even imagine what that must have looked like. For, I think, about an hour and 15 minutes, they continued to try to resuscitate him, and I wonder what kind of people that takes to not give up on a kid like that.
Max survived the crisis, but the tracheostomy could not be performed. Despite the risks, a second surgery was necessary for Max to breathe on his own.
After telling the parents about this major event that happened, and he still didn't have the tools that he needed to survive, how many times can we ask a child to keep the strength to go through those types of events?
Obviously, we struggled with the decision, but we didn't have a whole lot of time to decide. I mean, we had to push forward.
With specialists from anesthesia, from specialists from surgery, from ear, nose, and throat, we were able to make a plan and give the parents the confidence that Max would ride it through and not need to have the same strength that he showed the first time.
When Max came out of the second surgery, the tracheostomy, he really did come through with flying colors.
We could actually see his face for the first time in 6 months. He was just angelic. It was hard to believe that he had been through so much, and there he was just sleeping peacefully.
Though he would continue with his trach for the long term, Max was ready to begin rehabilitation. Because of the damage to his brain, he needed several kinds of therapies and intervention that continue today. But he no longer has his trach.
And we're sure he was really going to be able to walk or have much mobility in his legs. So to see him move the way he does is just, every day for us is just a surprise and a gift. We take nothing for granted. The fact that he can see, that he can hear, that he's eating on his own, that he's actually starting to make sound.
Because Max does so well, people tend to think that, we're some kind of heroes, and we're not. It's, it's all the hard work that other people put into him.
Using the same word over and over again, but they're just phenomenal people.
I consider Max to be a true miracle, and to have him go through that and still develop the way he has, it's it makes me proud of the care that he got here and proud of his parents too.
Every time I, start complaining about how tough my day was, I think about, what some of these doctors are able to do day in and day out.
Max will always have irreversible lung damage, but he will not be limited in what he can accomplish physically. In spite of everything he's been through, Max's future looks bright.
He smiles, and he smiles with his whole body, his heart, and everything comes out in that smile. His eyes light up.
Oh, he's great. It's a ball of fire. He doesn't cry, doesn't complain, always smiling, very playful, and just a ray of sunshine every day.